I was looking at these two Wranglers here. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. So if you look at these two together, you'll quickly see that this one has LED headlights and fog lights, and this one does not. Now walk over to the red one, you'll see this has cloth seats. They look great. And yeah, interior is what you would expect from a Wrangler too, right? Now let's walk over to the gray one. This one, however, does have leather seats. And although a lot of people probably don't care for leather seats on a Jeep Wrangler, these are essentially, is that how you said the word? Essentially the same price. And that's why I'm doing this video today, because I want to know your thoughts. The only reason why these are about the same price is because if you get that color match roof, that's going to be $2,600. You heard me correct. $2,600. And when you add the leather seats to this one and the upgraded headlights, you basically put the price point very close together with that roof. Let's get into the video.
So I wanted to show you the window stickers really quickly. So the first one is going to be the Firecracker red. Just take a moment and then look at some of the stuff here. And this is just a short listing of the standard equipment. And here is some of the stuff for the options. Now that Firecracker red is a $295 premium too, so just keep that in mind. But this one does have a trailer tow and heavy duty electrical group for $845. I think this is a good option to have because it gives you the auxiliary switches and it does, you know, upgrade the battery, things like that. And moving on up, the reason why this one was so expensive was because of this option right here. So $2,600. It does have a lot of good stuff. It has a Freedom panel storage bag, rear window defroster, rear window wiper and washer, and then it pretty much deletes that soft top. But for $2,600, this is the price for this one. So here's the window sticker for the gray one. This is Granite Crystal, and this does have a $295 premium for the color too. Now this one has an option I definitely would get on the Jeep. If you do a lot of night driving, trust me, these LED lights are amazing at night. They're $1,465 and it does upgrade the tail lights too. And just moving on up here, this one does have the Xtreme Recon just like the red one you just saw. I didn't point it out, but this had that 456. There is an option for a 488 rear axle ratio too, which is really cool. And the other expensive option on this one was the leather seats for $1,750. Now, as I'm going to mention in the video, most people don't want leather seats inside of a Jeep, especially if you plan on taking the top down and things like that. So just keep that in mind. But the price difference for them is $61,045 versus $60,325. So obviously the gray one's still a little bit more expensive, but I do like some of the options. With the exception, I would add the trailer tow because I like the auxiliary switches, and I probably just take off the leather seats, and then I would probably really close the gap a little bit more for the pricing.
So as you guys can see, this red is really nice. I actually don't mind it. It's just a lot of red though. So in my opinion, I would definitely have not gotten the red roof. I would have skipped that for sure. And then I probably would have just got the options that the gray one has. Now, if you do plan on taking the top off, things like that, leather is not always the best option to have. So the cloth seats is a better way to go if you do plan on taking that top off, taking the doors off, and having it out in direct sunlight. But this Xtreme Recon is 100% the way to go. Those 35-inch tires, whew, amazing. And if you plan on, you know, going up to 37s or even 40s on your Jeep, get the Xtreme Recon because they re-gear the truck for you. Basically, they give you a 456 rear axle ratio. That is awesome. I mean, that is on another level when it comes down to like even your HD trucks. Like you'll see on these, like that's a gas engine. That'll typically have like a 373. This will have a 373 too on the Cummins. You can get a 410 on that Ram on the gas, but this has a 456. So they really gear this thing for, you know, maximum performance, especially when you put, you know, taller tires. It does affect, you know, your speed and things like that. So I think this is definitely the way to go if you do plan on lifting in the future. So the gray is definitely my choice. This looks a little bit meaner. You do have the premium lighting group. And if you don't want the leather seats, you can save yourself $1,700 and use the money towards some other options and features you might want to pick on this truck. So in my opinion, I think that this is the way to go. Let's go take a look at a regular Jeep really quickly. So just get a good look at this one right now. That's the shot right there. And there you have it. So those 35s really do a number on the Jeeps. This is a Rubicon as well. So if I were picking, man, that's the way I'd go. And to be completely honest with you, the price point for that package is only $4,000. You could spend about the same amount of money, if not more, doing it aftermarket for yourself. And this is covered under factory warranty. So once you start lifting and doing a bunch of stuff to your Jeep, you could void your factory warranty on your truck. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I really do like the fact that you already have that 456 gearing, and that would definitely be what I would, go after if I was looking at a Jeep. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet was the powertrain. This is going to be a 3.6 liter V6. It is mated to an 8-speed transmission, and this is going to have 285 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is a mild hybrid, so this is like an e-torque system right here. You can see the generator, and so this does add some performance, like off the line, but not while you're driving, unfortunately. But I did not know they had the e-torque system on these, and this might have been something that they've done over time. But we are going to drive it today because I want to see how well this is going to drive with the 35s, having the 456 rear. So all that stuff is going to really come together. I think I'll drive the gray one. So let's go ahead and show the interior. But before I do that, let me show you the back. Man, check out this huge tire. Now, B-Lock wheels typically are heavier, so just keep that in mind. And of course, having a big 35-inch tire is going to create more weight. So they do reinforce the rear of this holder for this tire and wheel. So that's just something to keep in mind too if you do upgrade your wheels and tires. And most shops know this too by now, but if you do upgrade your wheels and tires, you will have to get something a little bit more stronger and sturdier to hold that tire. But Jeep does give you that, a part of that Xtreme Recon package. Let me show you a standard one real quickly. So the comparison is, on that Xtreme Recon, they had the spare tire connected to the hinges here, but on this one, it's not connected that way. So that's pretty much where you're getting that reinforcement at, is right here. Yeah, even when you open the door, you could tell this is a lot heavier, a lot heavier. Nice storage below. And this one does have the hard top. You do have a standard soft top too, if you're not familiar with Jeeps. But this is a pretty decent size trunk for an SUV this size. The seats do fold flat too. You just pull the handles right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's drive the gray one. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start it up. So this does have push button start. If you push it without your foot on the brake, it'll put it in accessory mode, and then you have a run position. And then when you put your foot on the brake, it will start it up. Now you can start it up without having to go through that step, but I just want to show you each one. So as far as your seat controls go, there's not much. All you do have a way to pump the seat up, and you do have a control, for your lumbar support. It's like a twist dial, and this does have a telescoping steering wheel, so you can get pretty comfortable. I'm 6'1", and I have more than enough space. If I was 6'6", that's probably about where you max out at with comfort. But I have seen some pro basketball players driving Jeeps, so they've obviously figured out how to be comfortable on them. So I guess it just depends on if you really want to drive a Jeep. But everything looks clean inside of here. This has been around since 2018, 2019, so I won't take too much time inside of here. But a lot of storage, a lot of USBs too. So if you look over on the side, they have a media little cover for it. You have 2 USBs and auxiliary. And out back, you do have a power plug, and you have 2 USBs down below too. And I actually have my batteries charging back there too. So a lot of ways to keep all your technology charged up. So let's go ahead and put it into gear. And then let's go ahead and get down the road. I have not driven a Wrangler in a while, but I can tell there's a little bit more height with this one, with these 35s. Be sure to check out Criswell here in Thurmont, Maryland. These guys have a lot of cars still, so they have a lot of Jeeps, so you might be able to get a discount. I'm not saying you will, but I think that with these being 2021s, it's gonna be a little bit easier. But man, I really like the feel, you know, of this Wrangler. I think that, you know, having these 35s, it just has like that feel for some reason. Like, it feels like it's a little taller. And let's just see how it rides first. Let me see. I'm at 30 miles an hour. Not too much road noise at this point. I mean, everything looks good. I guess you have like a pride when you drive a Wrangler. This is like a cult following. I mean, these guys, when a Wrangler guy sees another Wrangler guy or girl, they all wave at each other. They have like a little cool wave that they do. So something I definitely do like about this is I like the uprightness of the windshield. Like, I love how close you are. You can get a really good angle of the hood. You know, the steering and everything. This feels really connected. Oh yeah, this is definitely slow. But that's to be expected. I mean, you're carrying a lot more weight, you know, with these tires and wheels, and you know, because most cars today don't have full-size spares like this does. So that's more added weight, and that's how they're able to get better fuel economy, is by reducing the overall mass. But it doesn't look right on a Jeep when you don't have the spare tire mounted to the back, so it just makes more sense to do it that way. Now, if you're expecting these, you know, bigger wheels and tires to improve your ride and handling, don't be disappointed when that doesn't happen. You're gonna have a little bit more of like a, you know, this is very disconnected feeling. I'm doing about 50 miles an hour. Well, I'm doing 45 because the speed limit's 40. And you know, the noise from the road is picked up a little bit, but it's not bad. I mean, this interior, you know, is really nice. I do like the leather seats. I think that if, you know, I didn't plan to take the roof off and the doors off and leave it out in the sun all day long, I probably would consider this interior. But I mean, when you get a Jeep Wrangler, you want to take off the roof and expose the interior. You do have LED lights inside of the interior too. It's something that I like that they're doing now. It uses less, you know, energy, and it looks kind of cool, having more of a whiter light inside the interior. Now, something else, you do have some different off-road features. I strongly recommend, you know, every once in a while, if you do buy a Jeep, it's always a good idea to take it and put it in four-wheel drive. You know, drive it, you know, you can go on a dirt road, you can even do it in a straight line, but it's always a good idea to just, you know, put it in four-wheel drive, make sure you check it, make sure everything's working, and just to really lubricate those gears too. It's just something I always recommend people. I do it on my truck whenever I have a chance. Like, I went to the beach last month, for example, and I had a chance to, you know, take it out in the dirt, and I put it in four-wheel drive just to make sure it works. All right, so the auto stop start function just came on, but because this has e-torque, there is no delay. I'm going to try to hit the gas as quick as I can to show you what I'm talking about. But here, we're about to go right now. All right, so watch this. So yeah, there's no delay, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but it jolted forward really quickly. So let's do a little acceleration. Not bad. That is not bad at all. I'm really surprised by that. You know, having a bigger tire and wheel is going to slow it down a little bit, but you know, it has higher gearing in the rear. 456. That's pretty good. So at about 60 miles an hour, it's gotten a lot louder in here. So I'm gonna go about 65. There we go. Overall, really good driving SUV. I think that the Jeep Wrangler, you know, it definitely is still in a market of its own. The Bronco came in, I don't think it really made a big difference, because when you think about the cost of a Bronco, you think about how hard it is to get one. And I'm not talking about the Bronco Sport, I'm talking about the Bronco like that competes with the Wrangler. You really still have a car, like an auto that's really still in its own market. Like, I think that people are going to stay loyal to the Wrangler, and when they go ahead and do a refresh for this thing, I think that it's really going to bring it on home and make it just that much better. I mean, you have the 392, which is really cool, although again, that's still hard to find and it's really hard to get those. But you know, you can get a V8 that will just throw you back in your seats. I think that if you live close to the beach, or if you love to travel to the beach or go off-road, this is truly the best option available. I think that you would be completely satisfied, you know, owning one of these. And I didn't talk about you know, resale value. These things hold their value really well. If you lease something like this, yeah, you definitely want to go get a trade-in value on it, because it might be worth more than it was when it was brand new. I mean, not in this climate, because you're going to pay a little bit more for everything, but overall, a really good option if you are shopping the Jeep Wrangler. Just driving through this little town here, a few people were like looking at this thing, because I think having these 35s, it does just change the overall appearance of this Wrangler. I'm telling you, it really does look really menacing. I would definitely buy my Jeep like this. And if you do plan on going to a taller tire, trust me, this is the way to go, because the truck's already geared for a 35-inch tire. So you kind of save yourself a little bit of, you know, a little bit of money in the future. And as I mentioned, a lot of this stuff is all under factory warranty, so you know, just keep that in mind.